what are you teaching right now at church? You said you're teaching this stuff on Wednesday night, but what are you teaching specifically right now?
Okay, well, I just finished at Brentwood Baptist is where I've been teaching on Wednesday nights. I just did a series they have a really cool group they call their TNT group. They're what do you call them? They're on staff. They're like being discipled there. It begins with a C. I can't think of the word, but anyway.
Catechumen? Is it
Intern,
a catechumen?
No, they're interns.
That's not a C. That's not a C.
Yeah. Welcome to the 64-year-old brain. Anyway, so I just finished that class up, and now I'm starting this Wednesday night with the singles class, and we're going to do Luke. So we're just going to work through the Gospel of Luke.
How long does that take you?
Well, it's just however long they give me. I think they've given me like 5 weeks, so we won't go chapter by chapter. We'll just do big sections. I'll do one session just introducing and giving them the categories, and then they got to read the whole gospel the next couple of days, and then we'll spend 4 more weeks, I think, looking at big blocks that illustrate kind of those major themes.
Okay, and when you teach these courses, do you ever find yourself pretty intimidated at some of the people that have gone before you? I mean, Brentwood Baptist is a big church. There's been a lot of names that have gone through there. Yeah. Do you find yourself going, all right, I got to get this right. I got to do this well.
Yeah, I don't know. Every now and then when someone shows up in a class and they're a PhD from Vanderbilt in theology or something, that's pretty intimidating. But the people who would come to my class in the first place, aren't in general. They tend to be nice people, right? Mean people don't tend to come to my class anyway.
I asked a pastor friend of mine, he pastors up in Northern Illinois, and he said D.A. Carson walked into the service, yeah. and he said, I said, were you nervous? He goes, no, because Jesus was there.
I did a concert one time, and I sat down. I looked at the front row, and D.A. Carson sitting there, and that was pretty intimidating. I didn't talk much between songs. Because I mean, here's a sidebar. This is something new I've learned about the academic world. I showed you all these notebooks that I have. A pile of notebooks, and these are just all articles.
The D.A. Carson wrote.
Well, some of them. Here's Jewish studies. Here's the language and multi. Jesus. How many languages Jesus speaks? I have 50 articles on that. Anyway, but here's what I'm learning, Travis. You're trying to learn and you're trying to figure things out, and then you start reading enough articles, and they all disagree with each other.
Oh, yeah.
And that drives me nuts. People that are really smart, right? People that are smarter than you and me, they can't find a consensus on some of these basic things. And that's frustrating for me. But that's how you get a PhD, right? You write a thesis about how everybody else is wrong about this, and you figured something new out. But and so it makes me that much more grateful to people like William Lane or George Guthrie or D.A. Carson, who see scholarship as something to serve the church with. That's how they wash feet. So, and there are a lot of New Testament scholars or biblical scholars out there like that. But I'm just kind of tired of people that are out to disagree and make other people look foolish.
Well, not just to make them look foolish, but they have that pressure that they have to publish and they have to come up with something new.
Sure.
That's what drives me nuts about academics and why I didn't go into academics, because I feel like you're not. Are you really serving the people of God?
Yeah.
Or are you just trying to do something different to get noticed?
Yeah.
Because
of course, if the majority is wrong about some issue, and they frequently are, maybe you're the guy who takes the heat to say, here's what the Bible really says, and let me say it in a fresh way or something like that. But
I mean, and
I had originally wanted to be part of that world, and I can see now why God didn't let me, because I wouldn't have been very good in that world.
I don't know.
Much.
But I mean, you've got enough writings and research that shows you're a researcher at heart. Your undergraduate degree is in
what I translate stuff across. That's my job. You know, digest all of this stuff and take what, is, I hope is true, and I translate it across. I don't talk down to people. I talk across to people.
Hmm.
So I'm very glad for that. I mean, I did that in songs, same sort of thing. I don't have very many new ideas. I'm making hay with other people's ideas.
Well, isn't that the way that any pastor hopefully is?
Well, I think it is. I think it is. And Bill, it's so funny when Bill would preach, this is back in the day, and I would write, whatever the theme was, the song Emmanuel. Okay, the song Emmanuel I wrote. That came from the sermon he preached at our wedding. And the
Hmm.
sermon was, if God is with you in the context of marriage, who could ever be against you? So it was this encouraging word. Well, I wrote a song about that later on. And the song comes out, and Bill, I get this phone call from Bill, and Bill's all animated. And he said, "Oh, I just heard your new song on the radio." He goes, "Michael, what a wonderful use of scripture you have." So he had forgotten this sermon. And I said, "Bill, that was a sermon you preached when Susan and I got married." And on the other end of the phone, I hear, "Oh, oh, 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 oh," he's laughing. He said, "I do think it was particularly fine." I did think it was particularly fine.